Yeah, thanks for coming back from me and Country Stew. We're going to look at how to play some lead guitar ideas in the country style now. And as always, we're going to break it down into a couple of ways of doing things, some melodies and then some solo licks. A country guitar very often has these really cool low down melodies. It's something we're going to create today. And as we often do, we're going to do it by connecting some chord tones. In fact, we're just going to tie together the root notes of our chords, the A, D, B minor and E that we're using today, just from A to the D, to the B, to the E. Just the root notes of each chord. But of course that's too simple really just on its own. Instead what we're going to do is add some passing notes between those root notes using some of the notes from the A major scale that we can see here. You'll see a little diagram up there of all the notes we're going to use, and the notes that cover the bottom few strings in A major are notes. I didn't start that with the open A strings. We're going to have to use the notes on the bottom E string as well. So you've got to know how to play your scales across all 6 strings, not just from root note to root note. Anyway, by adding some of those passing notes in, we're going to get A, C sharp. I'm going to play the D fretted here on the 5th fret, why not? And then walk back down again to the B. So the C sharp has been our passing note between those. And then a little hammer onto the C sharp. That's a little country technique. They like these legato techniques, hammering from the B to the C sharp before you go back to our E note for the last bar. So here it is, in the country style, a little low down riff. Here it is. There's one really cool little country trick I'd like to give you today. A nice little chop light to it. I call it a wow. I think some of those do as well. And on the bottom string, I'm going to show you a wow on that 2nd fret. And it's just a little sudden bend and release. And you'd often use this as a passing note to go back to your open E. So that's a really nice little trick. How do you do that? That's right, I'll show you, Country Stew. So we're just playing that 2nd fret on the bottom string. Give it a little bend, but you've got to pull those lower strings. Bend and release, not too far. It's not going to go a long way. It's just a little, perhaps a half tone at most, before you go down to your E. It also works with the A, if you're on your way back to your A note at any point. So let's just integrate that into the riff. Add a few extra little passing notes too. A little bit more of a complicated, interesting sounding melody. Here it is. Here's how it goes. I gotta give it to you, partner, that ain't half bad. And if you want to check out some good examples of this technique, Chris Stapleton is a really cool new sort of country guitar player these days. So check out some of his ideas. Tune Tennessee Whiskey is a good example of that. A really nice, sort of soulful, emotional country melody down there on those low strings, connecting his chord tones, of course. And Cody, Jinks, there you go. There's another one. There's a lot of these guys around. Hippies and Cowboys is a really cool example of that. So check those ones out. And that's how to play some country melody ideas. But let's play some country solos. There's a lot of country players who pull off some really, really fast, intricate, elaborate picking. We're just going to get started with a few simple country ideas, and one thing they do like to do is imitate a lap steel. I'm sure many of you have seen those lap steel guitars that the country players use, and they're quite literally like they're parallel to the ground, they're horizontal, and they'll play them with an iron, not what you iron your clothes with, what's called an iron. It's the equivalent of a slide, and they just move it up and down and give you this really smooth sound. And how do we approximate that? Well, just by playing some legato licks, and this quite often comes through in the country records you'll hear, and just sliding from one note to another. We're using a pentatonic major here, and a few really cool slides in this happen on the 5th string from 2 to 4, and same on the 4th string from 2 to 4, and then on the 3rd string from 2 to 4, or from 4 to 6. Yeah, that's going to take us into shape 2, but this is a really nice country lick, just sliding from 2 to 4 on the D string, and then playing that 2nd fret on the G for our A note. Now if we're going to move up into pentatonic shape 2, stick with just the top 3 strings, there's plenty of work to be done in there, and sliding from 4 to 6 on the 2nd string. There's a nice little country lick. 1st and 2nd strings, why not? A slide, and then followed by a note. Let's have a listen to that idea in practice. Another cool country idea, some pre-bends. And this is not like your usual string bend, but you've bent the note before you've picked it. So I'm going to bend this 4th fret of the 3rd string in A pentatonic major. You just hear the note coming down. Again, it's the kind of thing a lap steel player would do without thinking about it. It's a little bit more sort of counterintuitive for a normal guitar. What's the opposite of a lap steel? This kind of guitarist to play is to bend the note first and then finish off perhaps just with an A note. There's a nice one of those in that 3rd string. Also on the top string on that 7th fret. It's the same note. That's a nice little pre-bend. So pick while the note is bent high, and then bring the bend down to the pitch that your finger started on. Let's have a listen to that in action with a few more sliding licks. But one more little nice pro tip in country guitar is letting notes ring. Yeah, this has had the slide and the ring. So sliding up to that 6th fret. Then I'll play my next note. I'm not letting go of the initial note. I hear them both ringing in together. That's a really classic country style. So listen to see how it all comes together. So listen to some of the pros in action. Listen to Randy Travis, Forever and Ever Amen. Oh, a little bit of Randy, if he says so. Check out perhaps Trisha Yarwood. She's in love with the boy. One of the country, a bit more of a ballad style, and yeah, you'll hear lots of cool classic country guitar licks. Nice and smooth, legato, slides, hammer-ons, and those pre-bends, and that's going to get you sounding like a country star in no time. Have fun.